So I wanted to share in this post about how I say the religion left me. And the reason I say that, well, I'll tell you the story. So I was married for 17 years, and it was like in 2007, so like 10 years ago, I found out that he had cheated on me years ago, but the affair was actually 2 years long. So it was a pretty big deal for me to get over. And there were some other things that he had actually lied to me about as well. So it just kind of added up to all these things where I'm like, I can't deal with this. Like, I'm just like, I have to get out of this. But so the affair was really the reason why I chose to leave him. Um, so when that happened, I was like, well, okay, I was devastated, heartbroken, all those things, of course. He was my best friend. I expected to be with him for my entire life. Like, I would never expect to be divorced. Like, anyways, he was my high school sweetheart. So for this to happen to me, I was like, what? I had never planned to leave the religion, like, as a Jehovah's Witness. Like, it just wasn't, I never expected to. I've always questioned things about the religion, but you leave it in Jehovah's hands, right? Like that's what you're told. Um, so yeah. Anyways, at this point in my life, I was like, I can't stay with him anymore. Like I just can't be with a liar. I can't do this. So what I chose to do, I said, well, it's going to be ridiculous if you go to elders because they're just going to drag it all through judicial committees, and you'll probably get both of you will be disfellowshipped, or and then that gets dragged through the gossip chain in the congregations because let's face it, there's a whole lot of gossip that happens in that little community of Jehovah's Witnesses. And so news like that travels really fast. And at that point, I'm just like, I just want to get the hell out of this. Like, I just need to move on and I need to figure out what's going on, right? So I said, you know what, I'm going to leave because this place isn't mine anyways. Like, I'm going to move. And so I chose to move out, right? So at that time, and at the same time, then I was like, well, how we should just deal with it is, I'll write a letter from the both of us, but they'll write a letter that says, I'm leaving, that I'm the one leaving, and but we both, it's a mutual agreed upon. We've basically separating, and these things happen, and so my letter was basically just like keeping it light, but realize like I don't do things in a hasty manner. So trust that what we are doing is for the best, right? So I sent that out to my friends and my family, my closest, and it was really quite a silent type of shock, right? Um, I don't think my parents called for a few days, and yeah, everybody was just my best friend in the congregation. Of course, she knew before was going to do this, and yeah. So anyway, she already knew, but nobody else knew. Like nobody knew, right? Why I was leaving, right? So at that time, like we did go to a few meetings together, and it was just super awkward. The two of us sitting together at one meeting, and we're just like, people are kind of like, nobody came up and talked to us because it had gotten around that I'd left him, and so I think people were just like so confused, like, how do we talk to them now? It was funny. It was weird, like not being human. Like you can't. I mean, we're just still the same people. Like, anyways, so so that was weird. We did that I think twice, and I'm just like, that's it. I'm not doing that again. Like people are just acting so weird, and it's so uncomfortable. So why go? Why bother? And then I was still dealing with like just the whole, leaving and trying to figure out, like I'd never lived on my own before because I'd only ever been with him, right out of high school basically. And so for me to go and find a place to live, never lived on my own, I don't even know how to do that, like all these things, right? And then at the same time, he's trying to make me stay, and not having it. Yeah, and then my parents, thinking that I'm being rebellious, and they're not understanding, and I just didn't want to like open that up because um, we're not that close anyways. And anyways, that's a whole other story about with my parents. But um, so as it was, I guess it looked to everybody else that I'm the guilty one. I didn't know that at that time because I was just like trying to repair my life that just kind of shattered in front of me. So as I was like trying to figure this stuff out, yeah, I was going to a few meetings here and there, but I was just like so drained, like so tired. And if you've gone through this, like it is so stressful, and you don't even have time to be depressed at that point because you're so many things are happening. And it was for me anyway. So like my job was really stressful too. So I was just like on high octane. I got to do stuff fast and move and da da da, all these things. So, and I just don't have time to go to meetings and sit there and, I was just not feeling it right then. I just needed some space. So I went through to a few like book studies, I think. But I was like really just kind of distancing because I just needed my time to figure my life out. Like, so my best friend, she was awesome. She was always like encouraging me, you got to come back to the meetings. There's support there, and keep reading your Bible and all this. And my grandma was always calling me like, you gotta, you should go back and you should be with him. And she was trying to encourage me to go back to him. And I'm like, okay, no, it's not happening. And then she's like, well, you have to come to meetings because the meetings is where, Jehovah's going to give you that strength and da da da. And I'm like, that's okay, Grandma. I have my Bible. It's, I know how to read it on my own too. So anyways, so during this time, so here I've moved out now. It's like 3 months. Nobody, like my friends, like I've lived in that congregation for probably 20 years. I've known people there since I was like a teenager. So, and these are my friends. This is my tribe. And nobody, nobody's calling me. I reached out to a couple of my friends and nothing. They don't get back to me. They actually, one of them lied to my other friend saying, oh no, she didn't call me. Because when I was telling my best friend, I'm like, nobody's even calling me back. Like I'm trying to at least have some kind of support around me, but there's nothing, just her. Anyway, so she had actually lied to my best friend saying that, oh no, she didn't call me, no. And I said, hey, you know what? Actually, our phones these days, they actually say exactly who's phoned. And yeah, and she said that she'd called me. Anyways, there's all these little lies, and I'm like, that's gross, right? So, and then at that time too, I had one elder, and I know he was assigned to me because the amount of times he'd phone me at work, like it was so inappropriate. And he's phoning me and like trying to read scripture over the phone and telling me like all these things about being married and how it's important to Jehovah and all these things, right? And I'm like, do you really think that you can tell me anything that I don't know after 17 years of marriage? Like, this is just how it is right now. So, if you want to talk to me, let's set up a different time, not at my work. Like, this is so inappropriate and just, brings in so much stress that I'm trying to like alleviate while I'm working. But no boundaries on some of these elders, and maybe he was trying to do his best, but I honestly felt like it was just he was assigned to me. So 3 months go by. I'm not going to hardly any meetings. I've gone to a few here and there, but I'm still like just trying to deal with stuff. And my ex-husband, he goes, I can't handle how people are treating you. Like nobody's being your friend. Like nobody, like everybody's treating you like you're the guilty one. And I'm like, I know, right? That's crazy. I mean, he's going to the meetings and he's saying like people are coming up and consoling him. They're making him casseroles, like to take, they're like really surrounding him as a community would and should when you're going through some traumas in your life, right? So yeah, so there was a definite judgment that was going on towards me, and that I didn't expect. Neither of us did. And so yeah, actually, so that's how I say the religion left me, because I wasn't planning to leave it. All right, I left my husband. I wasn't planning to leave the religion. But when I saw that all these people are just like judging me, and they had no reason to. They hadn't even talked to me. So they're basically waiting to hear off the stage of me being announced that I might be disfellowshipped or something, so then they know how to actually treat me. Like, isn't that crazy, right? So my ex-husband, he was feeling so guilty about the treatment that was happening to me that he said, I have to go to the elders, right? And I'm like, don't do it. Like, it's just, I can deal with this. I'm seeing everyone's true colors, and that's great, right? Because then I can just find new friends somehow. So no, he went to the elders, and he confessed to them that he had cheated on me and all this, right? But it was years ago and such. And so the elders basically did a public reproval. And for those of you that don't know what that is, like, basically they announce on stage that so-and-so has been publicly reproved. And it's not shunning and it's not disfellowshipping, but it's basically letting everyone else know that, he's done something pretty bad, that we get up here and he gets his privileges taken away. Privilege being that he, I don't remember what privilege is, but you get your privileges taken away. You can still preach, of course. You have to still preach. But privileges such as mic handling, answering at the meetings, anyways, those type of privileges, right? So he got his privileges taken away. He got publicly reproved. So when that happened, then everybody says, oh, so she's not guilty. And so then I got phone calls the next day. How fake is that, right? Phone calls the next day. Oh yeah, like all kinds of stuff. And people were just trying to like pry into like, what did he do? What did he do, right? And I'm like, it's between us. Like I didn't give it up, because I'm like, to throw that out there, I just didn't feel I needed to do that. It was our life, our marriage, our ending. So why do you have to involve everybody and dissect my life and our mistakes and his mistakes? So anyways, that's how the religion left me, because I got to see how fake so many people are, and majority, but how fake the religion makes you or makes people, because it's all based on conditions. So these conditions are placed around the relationships that you have or are allowed to have, and then the judging that happens too. So when all these things kind of showed themselves to me, and I had some space to like look at that and just feel it and experience that whole thing, I was like, whoa, wait a second. They aren't loving as they say their number one thing is. Like, we're guided by love. It isn't true. It's all conditional love. So after that, I was like, that's it. I've seen too many true colors around the people there and what, their true love looks like. And that was kind of it. I guess you call that fading or drifting away. I'm not disfellowshipped. Maybe somebody will see this video and they'll be like, she needs to be disfellowshipped. But I haven't done anything wrong. I don't follow Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't follow the doctrines. But I'm not disfellowshipped. And on another note, I'm not bitter about it. I still respect the people that choose to be involved in that religion. Such as my parents, my grandparents, my aunts, uncles, cousins. Like, I've got a lot of family that is actually still involved in it. And some of them talk to me, some of them don't. And that's their choice. But I look at it like, I respect you. So I expect that respect back as to how I live my life. And whether they show me that or not, I don't expect anything. So anyways, that's how the religion left me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, or if you've had a similar experience, put it in the comments, and subscribe for more, because I'm sharing my life stories around the exjw bits and pieces of my life. So, and if you like this too, I love your thumbs up. Okay, have a great day.